Welcome to a Nerdgasm Quickie, the series where I give you all the need-to-know information on a hero, villain, topic, whatever, in a timely yet loving manner. Scott Lang, the Ant-Man. Scott Lang. He is now the current Ant-Man in the Marvel Comics. He is also an ex-convict, and honestly, one of the best dads I have ever seen in my entire life in the comic books. Scott Lang was born and raised in Coral Gables, Florida. He married a woman named Peggy Ray, and later on, they had a daughter named Cassie Lang. Because Scott Lang couldn't afford to support his family, he turned to crime and was eventually arrested. While he was in jail, Scott Lang was divorced, and he decided to further his studies of electronics. Lucky for him, when he got out of prison, he was hired at Stark International in the design department. But even though he had a job and he was making money, obviously he still loved his family, he was not making enough money, and he had to return to thieving. This is mainly because he found out his daughter was diagnosed with a congenital heart condition. Scott Lang ended up breaking into the home of Henry Pym and stealing the Ant-Man suit. What Scott didn't know is that Pym was watching Scott the entire time, creeper, and he wanted to see what he would use the suit on. This ended up being Scott's first heroic adventure as Ant-Man because he ended up saving someone named Dr. Sondheim, who was being held captive by Darren Cross. Honestly, the convenience is incredible. After this, Pym decided to let Scott keep the suit only if he agreed to use it for good. Scott Lang has teamed up with the Fantastic Four numerous times, and with his shrinking technology, he usually accompanies them on trips to the microverse. Scott is actually a reserve member of the Fantastic Four, so should anything happen to them, he would show up along with She-Hulk, Medusa, and She-Thing to temporarily take over for them. Scott is also teamed up with Tony Stark, usually because of his thieving abilities. After Justin Hammer stole and sold some of Tony's armor schematics to supervillains, Scott had to hack into Hammer's computers and find out where the armor plans went. The funny thing about this is that Scott was almost stopped by a pest control system, because things were a lot more low pressure in the 80s. Also, for those of you that don't know, Scott Lang dated Jessica Jones. Luke Cage's baby mama was into the Ant-Man first. That is hilarious. Later on in his career, he was supposedly killed in an explosion at Avengers Mansion. But you know how these things go, right? Heroes dying, haha, right? Comics. But his daughter Cassie joined the Young Avengers as Stature, and because of the exposure to Pym particles, she could control her size at will. She tries to be a hero to honor her dad, and at one point she even manages to go back in time and save her dad from the explosion! Because time travel always works! This of course ended horribly because he had to watch his daughter die at the hands of Dr. Doom. But don't worry, after the events of Axis, where heroes and villains had their moral compasses flipped, Dr. Doom used his magic to bring her back to life before he became a douche nozzle again. But what's really the best thing about Ant-Man? The best thing about Ant-Man is the love that he has for his daughter, how much he cares for Cassie. I mean, he loves that little girl. He tries to do his best to be a hero, but at the end of the day, he knows no matter what, his greatest ability is loving his daughter. When his wife actually takes Cassie and they're gonna move to Florida, Ant-Man follows them. And he stays there to be the father that he wants to be, even though the wife wants nothing to do with him. He even opens up his own company, and it's sort of successful, kind of, not really. It actually crashes and fails. But in the end, even though all he wants to do is be a great father and hero to Cassie, he realizes that the best thing he can do for her right now is to actually leave. So even though it breaks his heart, Ant-Man ends up leaving his daughter, even though he will be back to see her again, I promise you guys that. But before I let you guys go, I want to tell you one more awesome fact about Scott Lang, and that is that he has an evil LMD clone who goes by the name Black Ant. And in the new Secret Empire, he becomes part of Hydra's Avengers. That's how you know that Scott Lang made it, because he has an evil clone. Everyone needs evil clones nowadays. But let me know what you guys think about Scott Lang, and who do you guys want to hear about next? Put it down in the comment section below, guys. Comic books, TV shows, animes. Come on, let's earn that title of Nerdgasm and let's get a little bit expansive. Let me know, because it is beautiful. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.